Hey, what's going on, everybody? And welcome to another episode of Riley's Talk. First and foremost, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to everyone. As I record this video, it's Christmas morning right now. So let's get right into it. My top 5 games of week 16, and this is the first episode. Reason why it's the first episode because I'm doing a series of games. So right now, all the games that I'm going to do must have playoff implications because obviously the playoffs start in 2 weeks. And there's a lot of seeding and a lot of teams that are, they're inside the playoff field right now. But just about anything could knock them out. And in the AFC, there's a high probability, even with the extra team added this year, that somebody that is 11-5 may get left out. So let's get right into the slides. But before, as always, you know what to do. Subscribe, like, and share. So, a few games that didn't make the cut. Sorry, fellas. Sorry, guys. What have you. You just didn't make it. First one, Saints and Vikings. Now, don't get me wrong. The Saints still have an outside shot at grabbing the number 1 seed in the NFC. As of right now, though, they're pretty much focused on the NFC South. They already have clinched the playoff spot. So this game could have been added in there, but the Vikings, although mathematically alive, for the most part, they're done. If they would have won last week, if they would have won last week against the Bears, they definitely would have been in this conversation. The second game, the Dolphins versus Raiders. As of right now, the Dolphins sit at the 7th seed. The Raiders are pretty much, this game here is identical to the one up top. The Raiders are 6-8. They are reeling though, and they are mathematically still alive, but with so many teams with much better records than them, it's just only a matter of time before the Raiders are completely eliminated from the playoffs, and that's probably going to happen this weekend. Another game here, Cardinals versus the 49ers. 49ers were totally eliminated from the playoff hunt last week, so that's why I kept this one out of the top 5. The Cardinals, as of right now, if I can recall, they're sitting as the 7th seed. And the last one, the Eagles and Cowboys. Woo! The NFC East. The NFC East is horrible. But all 4 teams still have a shot, including the lowly Eagles. But right now, for the most part, these 2 teams are so far on the outside looking in that it's ridiculous, but they have a chance. But again, these are the games that did not make the cut for the week. So, the games that did make the cut, number 5 matchup. Washington versus Carolina. Now, I know what you're going to say. Carolina is only 4-10. But the reason why I added this game is more so because of Washington than Carolina. Again, Washington is in the NFC East, and they are the only one that truly control their own destiny. And on top of that, which I hate when NFL teams make the playoffs with a losing record. So I'm actually kind of slightly rooting for Washington here, because I want them to at least get to 8-8, and I want an 8-8 or a better team in the playoffs. I hate losing record teams in the playoffs. So right now we have the Washington football team, and excuse me if I say it because I'm still getting used to it. I have a habit of still calling them the Redskins, and I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one. And they're going up against the Carolina Panthers, who are 4-10. So that's my number 5 matchup. And what's at stake? As I just stated, the NFC East and also draft position. So it goes a little bit like this. If Washington wins out and they make the playoffs, let's assume they become the wild card loser. They lose their first round playoff game, which is highly probable. Well, at that point, Washington will have the number 19th pick in the NFL draft. Now, if they don't make the playoffs, they're pretty much hovering somewhere between 7 and 10. But for the most part right now, if it was right now, there would be 8 because that's where the Giants are sitting at right now. Carolina right now is in the 4th slot. So even if they went out or what have you, they're going to be somewhere between the 4th and the between the 4th and the 10th pick this year. So that's what's at stake in this particular game. Let's get to the game. Washington are number 4 in total defense, and they are 3rd in sacks. Washington's defense is pretty good. I mean, if you've watched them a few times, they get after the ball. That's what keeps them in games. They really haven't been blown out all year. Carolina, shitty on offense and defense. Bottom 20 in both. I mean, I could, bring in some stats, to get game within a game and stuff like that. But just the fact of the matter is that Carolina's pretty garbage on both sides of the ball. Washington, as I just stated, has some ballers on defense, starting with Chase Young, and a lot of those guys are like only 23, 24 years old. So you might see this Redskins team, the football team, around at least on the defensive side of the house for a pretty good minute. Also, Washington, they're somewhat garbage on offense, but back to their defense, they rank 10th in total turnovers. This is how they create their offense. They get a lot of turnovers, short field, things of that nature. So let's go to our next slide. Keys to victory. For DC, simple. Don't fuck up. Come and play some football. You will beat them. There is no need to dig deep into this. Don't fuck up. For Carolina, hope Washington fucks up. Again, that's your only real way of winning this game this week. You just don't really have it in you. Also, Carolina, take advantage whenever you can. That means if you get a lucky pass interference call, you need to score off that. If you get a no call or a holding call, anytime you can take advantage of Washington's miscues, you definitely need to. On top of that, back to Washington, as I said earlier, use the defense to play a short field, pretty much. And not just the defense, your special teams as well. Might need a couple of punt blocks and things of that nature. So these are your keys to victory. Now, teams affected by the outcome. As I said, the entire NFC East is still up for grabs. But pretty much only the Giants have a real shot at catching Washington. Because again, Washington controls their own destiny. They can finish at 8-8. As right now, the Giants are 5-9, so they would easily need Washington to lose a game. The scenarios are plentiful of how from the Eagles all the way up to Washington, how this can easily come down to anybody in the division. So right now, all 4 of the teams in the NFC are officially affected by the outcome of this game. All right, gambling. As I normally say, I get my numbers from Rivers Casino. Now, I got these numbers, honestly, yesterday, the spread line. And this line may have moved, but if it did, I'm pretty sure it didn't move more than 0.5 or 1 point fully. So as of right now, Carolina is the underdog. They are favored to lose this game by 2 points. Whereas Washington is the favorite. They're favored to win by 2 points. So for those that are going to take the spread, if you take Washington, not only do you need them to win, but you really need them to win by 3 points. Because if they win by 2, that's a push. If they only win by 1, then you just lost your money. So down here on the money line, Carolina, put up $100. If they win straight up, you win your $100 back plus $108. So that's altogether $208 that you get back. With the football team, you need to put up $132 just to win 100. So that's the spread in the money line, and the over/under is at 44.5. I kind of like this over/under. It's not bad. It's within reach. This is easily one of those games that, and I like the fact that they put this 44.5 there, so it makes you commit to either 43 points or 45 points. So you can't commit and just sit on there and say 44. I kind of like this over/under, regardless of how you decide to bet on it. To me, I think it's slightly too low, but barely. So my predictions: the Panthers, Carolina, their players are playing for a check and or a future. That doesn't matter if that future's with Carolina or not. Doesn't matter with another team. There's a lot of guys that need this paycheck still, so they're going to come out and play. They're still professionals, NFL football and stuff like that, but they're simply playing for a paycheck and a future, nothing more. On paper, Washington is simply the better football team. It just did, especially with their defense. My predictions, 28-14, the Washington football team. It will be a workman-style victory. What I mean by a workman-style victory, Washington will never have them, put it this way, the Panthers will stick around. It's one of those type of games where going into the fourth quarter, I could easily see it being 21-7, and then the Panthers get that touchdown. It comes 21-14, and everybody getting all riled up. They're going to win. And then DC just goes down for the touchdown or a field goal, and you pretty much see from right then and there, it's over with. So that's what I mean by a workman-style victory. So again, 28-14, the Washington football team. As always, thank you. Please like, subscribe, and share. And thank you for viewing Riley's Talk.